Welcome everybody back into Nerd Sesh. As always, I'm Carson Bradburn. Alongside me is Logan Camden, and it is Sunday night, so you already know the drill. We are going to be reacting to all of today's Week 10 action around the NFL. We had a horrible showing from the Bills. We had a horrible showing from the Steelers on Sunday Night Football, but because those two games suck so much as we may be in despair, we're not going to start there. We're going to start with probably the best game of the day, both on paper and perhaps in practice. The New England Patriots, Logan, not only beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today on the road, they pick up their 7th consecutive win to improve to 8-2. How impressed were you by their performance today, and how legit do you now view them as being when we're talking about some of the top teams in the league?
I mean, super impressed. I think the Patriots are going to win the AFC East now, and they're a lock to be in the playoffs. And I mean, I still think the biggest story throughout all this, and I know he was our pick for midseason MVP. I mean, I think Drake Maye is just destined to be the best quarterback on planet Earth. Wow. 21 touchdowns, 7 turnovers on the season, 284 total yards per game. The stuff that he does game to game just leaves me flabbergasted, man. It's not a perfect game for May. He does throw an interception in the red zone. I have found it interesting. Once you hit Drake Maye, it seems like then he can get a little bit rattled. Like the 2 interceptions he's thrown in the red zone this season have both been when he's gotten like slammed right before it happens. But the rest of his game is damn near perfection, and he's got it all on display. He can make all the throws from inside of the pocket. Drake's so tall, can just see all the passing angles, can make any throw. And some of the special throws that he makes in this game, the fade route TD to Diggs, the throw to Mac Hollins up the right sideline where he just drops it in the bucket, and then he's just got some other ones throughout this game where he's hanging in the pocket and making throws to Diggs. You add on top of that he's a special scrambling talent. I disagreed with you at the time, Carson. I think your take is aged perfectly, and I'm with you. I think he is the young quarterback to build around in the NFL now, and he's the man. The question is, how far can he take this Patriots team this season? I think the Pats can go toe-to-toe with anybody, man. I think they are a well-coached team. I think they have got a great defense. I think they have got a star young quarterback that elevates all the talent around them. Look, I'm not saying that they're going to go to the Super Bowl year one, AFC title game. I don't know, but I think they're going to win this division. I think that they can go toe-to-toe with anybody they match up with in the playoffs, man. Drake Maye's a superstar, and he can outduel just about anybody, man. I'm not blown away that Maye has done it. I am blown away that the Patriots have materialized it this fast.
It's so impressive. We're talking about now probably one of the great single season turnarounds on a team level that we've seen. This was one of the worst teams in football last year. And now not only are they sitting at 8-2, they've had this easy schedule all year. And that was part of the reason coming into this one. I was like, okay, I was in on the Patriots preseason. I picked them to make the playoffs. I was all in on Drake Maye, but I was thinking, are they really a legit 7-2, or are they feasting on this easier schedule? And yes, they have had a favorable slate of opponents, but they've beaten the Bills on the road now. They've beaten the Bucs on the road now. Those are 2 of the biggest, toughest games that they have all year. They nailed both of those games. And from this point forward, dude, like, there is a very distinct probability that the Patriots finish as the 1 seed in the AFC. They have the easiest strength of schedule remaining in football. They have games against the Bills and the Ravens. Everybody else they play flat out sucks. The Jets twice, the Giants, the Bengals, the Dolphins. So if you are talking about going from being a 4-win team to a 13-win team, like, that absolutely seems like it's on the table right now. And Drake Maye was already so impressive last year when he was in offensive hell. But everything that was so impressive about him has gotten better. All of the traits are there, and the production and the efficiency is now absolute top of the league. We glaze this guy every week, but we are now more than halfway into the year. We both had him as our midseason MVPs. I believe he is now, and this may depend on the sports book, the betting favorite to win MVP as a second-year quarterback, Logan. You know, the only 2 guys who have done that is Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. And I'm not saying that he is in that sort of rarefied air. Those guys both had like ridiculously historic MVP seasons in their own ways. Mahomes, obviously, it's the 50 touchdown, 5,000 plus yard season. Like that was a different level of just insane offensive brilliance. But Maye being this great, this young is a true historical rarity. And what you're saying about him being destined to be the best quarterback in football someday certainly feels likely in that post-Mahomes, post-Josh, post-Lamar window. He is the best guy of this next group, and he just continues to cement that week after week with the consistency.
Let me ask you, are you saying that when they retire or when they start on the downturn? Because I think Maye could overtake these guys while they're playing. Like, I just think he's that
I'm saying once they are no longer at their peaks.
I got what you're saying. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I think Maye could ascend to a level pretty rapidly where he's just in that top group with those guys. I think it's very realistic.
It's at the point where, like, we have to start considering him in these conversations being right outside the top 5 guys. Like, to me, the top 4 is stamped. It's the big 3 we just mentioned, to Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. Difficult to figure out what we do with him while he's injured right now, but to me, he still has that 5th spot, presuming health. And then the next 2 guys for me have been Stafford and Dak. Those guys have both played at a really high level this year and certainly have done nothing that would move them off of that spot. But Maye is playing at such a high level that he is working his way into those conversations. And even if he doesn't have some of the like elite veteran traits when it comes to knowing exactly how much time he has in the pocket, right? And he's had bad protection this year, but I think that not having that elite instinct is part of the reason he's taken a ton of sacks this year, whereas guys like Stafford, Dak, they're so smart about that. They're so refined as pocket passers. But here's Drake Maye. He's been the most accurate quarterback in football. He consistently makes elite decisions, and then he's got this crazy ability to create out a structure. He's got the ridiculous arm talent. Like, this was the worst completion percentage game that he's had all year. He still gives you 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 9 yards per attempt, because we can talk about, 74% completion percentage. He's so damn efficient. He also creates big plays as well as anybody in football. And that's where you mentioned the 54-yard play to Matt Collins on 3rd and 14. There's another 3rd and 10 where the pocket totally collapses and he finds a receiver for a chunk play. He's got a 72-yard touchdown in this game to Kyle Williams, which wasn't a crazy throw, but it's another explosive play. Like, every week he is going out there and balling out. He's clutch. He's incredible on 3rd down. He makes the big 4th down play to Diggs in this one. Like, I just do believe that's your MVP right now. And the Patriots have done other good stuff, but he's the biggest reason that they are 8-2, man.
And he's got nerves of steel, man. Drake Maye never looks overwhelmed. That's one of my favorite qualities of him, man. He's so composed. He's so under control. Like, he just never looks flustered. He never looks like the situation is too big for him.
No, he is so insanely impressive for a second-year guy, but we do talk about him every week. It's a mandatory Drake Maye glaze. That being said, I would argue the standout offensive player this game for the Patriots was TreVeyon Henderson. Him having a sort of potential breakout performance like this, we'll see if he replicates it, but he just had a couple of explosive plays and brings a level of dynamism and speed and big playability that this team hasn't had at the running back position, and obviously they've had all sorts of issues there. I wonder why they haven't
played the fucking guy.
I agree. Maybe it's Mike Vrabel being such an old school football guy. The rookie's got to earn it or something. I don't know, but I think Ramondre's injury there, opening up an opportunity for him, has been a very good thing for the Patriots because he's more explosive. He doesn't have the worst fumbling problem in the NFL. He's just better. And this was easily the best running back game the Patriots have had this year, which is big to find. And we'll see how he follows it up. But I do think he's the best running back talent they have. The run game has been something holding back this offense. They've been an elite passing attack, but they haven't been an elite offense. They've been a good offense, but it's been the pass protection, the offensive line, and the run game that has kept them from being in those top-tier offensive conversations and having those kind of crazy numbers. But we'll see if the run game can maybe take a step up with Henderson. But I also think the defense deserves some praise, man. I thought they did a really good job of limiting explosives against a pretty good Tampa Bay offense. And they were good on 3rd down. They got off the field. And those are a couple areas they've been good all year. They're a top 5 3rd down defense. They're buttoned up. They don't let you get a lot of those big chunk plays. And I think that they're 6th in points allowed per drive on the year. So the offense has been really good. Maye has been amazing, but the defense has also made a dramatic improvement. I just think you look at the opportunity they have with the schedule, you look at what they've accomplished right now. You got to give credit to Drake Maye, to the defensive improvement, to the coaching staff overall. But I think we have to start acknowledging them in some of these big picture conversations. Like, can they win the AFC? Are they that sort of big time threat?
Yeah, I mean, I think they are. I think the rest of the AFC is flawed enough to where I could see it happening. Like the Patriots just don't have a box that they don't check for me in terms of them being contenders. And on the defensive point, I mean, one, I think they just have the best cornerback in football. I think it's Christian Gonzalez. I think he should be all-pro first team this year. I think he's the best player on this defense. And then we've seen all of their, free agency acquisitions from this past season really pay off. Harold Landry, Milton Williams, and Chason's made a huge impact this season. Like, I mean, you said it at the top, dude. This is one of the most significant single season turnarounds I can think about in league history. And when we do contender rankings, I think it would be a mistake if I didn't have them in my top 10. I think about a team like the Denver Broncos, who's there in record similarities, right? And obviously the Broncos have the best defense, I think, in football. They're on a historic trajectory, and we're talking about getting to the quarterback and the pressure they exert on teams. But I'd be lying if I said I don't like the Patriots more. I do. I wholeheartedly. Like Drake Maye has such an advantage over a guy like Bo Nix. He is such a drastic difference maker. Like, I think they're there. I think they're top 10. I would not be shocked. I would not be gobsmacked if the Patriots were one of the final teams remaining, man. Are you there with them? I think they're just legit.
Yeah, I think that they have to be in the top 10 at this point. And if you compare them to the Broncos, right, because those are the 8-2 teams right now in the AFC, along with the Colts, none of whom I don't think many people would have picked to be 8-2 at this point. A lot of people like the Broncos. I like the Patriots. I did not expect them to be 8-2. But the thing is, if you're talking about going out there and contending, you've got to have that heavyweight punch that you can throw against the heavyweight teams, the big dogs. And even if you're looking at Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they're the 5 seed, or Josh Allen and the Bills, and they're the 6 seed, whatever, like, that those are still, to me, the teams to beat in this conference because they have the superhero quarterback. Same goes for Lamar and the Ravens if they get into the playoff field, which they very well might. And when I look at the Broncos, yes, the defense is amazing, but the offense is just bad and frequently flat out inept. They're 22nd in points per drive, and there are just so many stinker performances. Bo Nix, man, is so limiting to this team. So they beat the Raiders by 3. They beat the Texans without CJ Stroud by 3. They beat the Giants by 1. They beat the Jets by 2. Like, they're just limping past bad teams. And people will say, oh, well, a win is a win in the NFL. Not all wins are created equal. The Patriots are going out there and they're beating damn good football teams on the road. And they have a consistently elite quarterback who gives me so much more confidence in their offense overall. And when it comes down to it, I will always take the team, as long as they have a good defense, which the Patriots do, that has the high-powered offense compared to the team that has the elite dominant defense, but the legitimately bad offense. So yes, I think they can win the AFC. Personally, I still would not have them among the top favorites because I worry about the offensive line. I need to see more consistency out of the run game. The defense is good, and Christian Gonzalez is a superstar. I don't see that game-breaking talent elsewhere, and I think the pass rush is just okay, and so I wonder if they have the superstar factor on that side of the ball that maybe you would need to really bother one of these elite superhero quarterbacks who they'd have to go through, but they have a chance, and the consistency is commendable. We're talking about a year where everybody's up and down and everybody has bad losses. And yes, the Patriots started the year 1-2 and they lost a game to the Raiders and they had the terrible 5 turnover game against the Steelers that they should have won if not for that. But ever since then, they have just been rolling. They've just consistently been in rhythm, playing pretty well defensively, phenomenal quarterback play, not turning the ball over. And there's just not many teams who have done that week after week like they have so far. So that is certainly the story of this one to me, a big signature win for the Patriots in what has been an incredible season. For Tampa Bay, Logan, how are you feeling about them after this game?
I mean, I guess I'm cooling on Tampa Bay a little bit in terms of them being like the best of the best in the NFC. I still think the Buccaneers are a contender. They're just a fringe contender. The The secondary has kind of been an issue all season long. I was surprised New England was able to run the ball on them the way they have. Normally, Tampa Bay is one of the best run defenses in the NFL. The secondary, I think, is a concern. And then this offense is just so beat up. Like, they're just so devoid of the elite depth that really makes this team go. And even that, like, this team was close to Ibuka had a really big drop. I know his stat line is gaudy in this one. He had a really crucial drop late in this game in the red zone that could have got them a first down and a chance to get in the end zone that would have swung this game. Not that the entire game's on him, right? They're reaching at straws offensively. Like, they're just down so many key guys. At full strength, I like Tampa Bay a lot more than I do than where they're at right now. I just wish that they were a little bit more healthy.
Does full strength exist for this team, though? Mike Evans is done for the year.
Chris Godwin's
played in 2 games.
I mean, Kalijah Kancey's out for the year.
Yeah.
Well, actually, fuck all the other guys. If Mike Evans was available, it would make a difference. Like, I don't mean to downplay Chris Godwin, but like,
super strong language there to all the other guys. I
apologize.
I don't feel that way about you guys. I think you all matter.
I just mean Mike Evans is still that guy to me. Mike Evans has always been that guy. You look at the difference in the Buccaneers team offense last year with versus without Mike. It's a difference of like a touchdown per game. And I just think he's such a big release valve for everybody. Takes the pressure off of other receivers, opens up, just the entirety of the field. So the Bucs are fringe top 10 team to me. They're very good, but they've got their red flags, and unfortunately, they're kind of limping to the finish line, I think. I think this team's clearly going to be in the playoffs, but I'm cooling on their legit contender chances.
They're definitely going to be in the playoffs because their division sucks, and they're absolutely the best of that bunch. But they've played a lot of uninspiring football this year. And I was high on the Bucs coming into the year. I thought they were going to be one of the elite offenses. I had them winning 12 games, and I just think there's a lot of teams in the NFC who have passed them by at this point. I'm clearly more impressed by 2 teams in the NFC West. There are 2 teams in the NFC North who I definitely like more. I still like the Eagles more as your reigning Super Bowl champs. So they've just dropped in the hierarchy. I still think that they're good, but last year, it just felt like everything came so easy for this offense. I mean, they were elite in terms of rushing efficiency. They were elite in terms of passing efficiency. They were a 5 yards per carry, 70% completion percentage, super productive, consistent offense. And injuries have definitely been part of the problem here. Offensive line was banged up early in the year. Wirfs was hurt. The receivers all year have been banged up. Now Bucky Irving has been banged up, but just nothing has looked the same. The run game hasn't been nearly the same. And I just don't know that this receiver situation is getting better because Evans is done, and Godwin at this point, I just think is like a major availability risk and might not be the same player if and when he does get back out on the field. And when you put a lot of pressure on Baker to carry this offense, I just think he's a bit too erratic for them to be a really good group there. So that's where I'm at with Tampa Bay. I think this was a game in which we saw them tested. The Lions game was one in which we saw them tested, and they've fallen short in those tests over the last couple weeks. And now they've got 2 big games coming up at Buffalo and at the Rams. We'll see how they respond in those. I would view them as definitely underdogs in both of those matchups. Shall we talk about this Steelers game, Logan? I mean, I hate to see you in pain. Oh, how I hate to see it. And let me recommend something to you. After today, watching the Bills play football like they did, I have adopted the philosophy of stoicism when it comes to the NFL. I am only going to control my own reaction to what happened because I cannot control the outcome on the field. Basketball, it brings me nothing but unbridled joy. Football, it brings me only anguish or relief. So will you join me in my journey to be a stoic? Or are you just going to feel all the pain and that's okay too, man?
No, I wear my heart on my sleeve, bro. I've never been one of those crackers, bro.
So beautiful.
Dude, the shit that pissed me off
so
about this week was the fact that I was stoic. That since before this season started, my take on the Pittsburgh Steelers has been this is a bad football team. That the Pittsburgh Steelers are a bad football team. And I don't know. Logical Logan just left the room and was like, nah, fuck it, man. I'm high on Aaron Rodgers again, and I'm feeling the Steelers. And I think with the Chargers and their offensive line issues that we're going to be able to exert some pressure on Justin Herbert, and that should be enough to win this football game. I'm just disappointed in myself. I know better. I know better than to believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know better than to get my hopes up. And yet that's what I did. This game was different than some of the other losses that we've suffered this year. I actually didn't think this was a particularly ugly performance from the defense. I've seen a lot worse from the defense this year. Like, they were disruptive at points in this game. The pass rush actually got home. We didn't have, as many tackling issues and busted coverages on the back end. Like, it was passable. The issue tonight was Aaron Rodgers to me. Like, I just thought Rodgers was inaccurate. He missed so many big-time game-swinging throws in this game. The slight overthrow to Jonnu Smith, the overthrow pass to DK Metcalf. There's a lot. I don't know. I have already trauma blocked a lot of them. That game pissed me the fuck off. Yeah. The safety off the sack fumble. Like, the Steelers aren't good. I don't have any new conclusions. We are a shitty football team. We are going to limp to over 500. I have given this spiel 1,000 times, it feels like, already this year. They're going to show up for some games. Other games, they're not going to. Like, the Chargers are a good football team with a star quarterback, and I'm disappointed in myself for not betting on the star quarterback. Like, that's the recipe. And this is, even though I picked the Steelers, hand up to win this football game, this is my beef with a lot of you people in the media that get high on the Steelers after they beat the Colts. And everybody comes out and they go, the Steelers can beat anybody in the AFC. And that's why I say you're just full of shit, man. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't care who it is. If it is a top-notch quarterback that the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing, you should expect a loss. And that's just how it is. You were talking about it with the Broncos, Carson. In a heavyweight fight, they don't have the artillery. They just don't have the firepower, man. They just don't. And teams with that guy are always going to hold the edge over Pittsburgh, man. I've seen it way too many damn times. Every time they get to the playoffs, if it's running into Josh, if it's running into Lamar, if it's running into Pat, if it's running into Herbert, that buzzsaw isn't going anywhere, and it's going to eat through the Steelers every single time. This one just hurt a little extra because it was an embarrassing loss. This was, I think, the worst game that I've seen Rodgers play all year long, and he looked really old and scared and not up to snuff tonight. And so it was unique in the sense that I don't think we've lost a game like this year, but I put it pretty firmly on the offense and Rodgers' shoulders.
The Steelers just aren't very good, and that's not a revelation. They've really played one good, impressive game all year, and it was against the Colts. That was the one performance where it felt like the defense actually brought it at a really high level, and they were forcing a really good offense into mistakes and taking away what they wanted to do with the run game and mixing stuff up. And that was very impressive. But other than that, if you look around, like, they win a shootout against the Jets where the offense is really good, but the defense is terrible against a really bad New York offense. The Patriots game, there's a lot of turnover luck. Like, the Colts game was really the only one in which they've been impressive. And so I don't know how you could have been too high on Pittsburgh, but at this point, I just think it's highly unlikely to me that we see them in the playoffs. I know, Logan, you and I have disagreed on this a lot, and I have continually said, the Ravens are coming, the Ravens are coming, the Ravens are coming for this division. That lead that Pittsburgh had built up, it's down to a game. And with two head-to-head matchups remaining, I just think Baltimore is the better football team, and I think that they're going to take the division. So I don't even know if we'll get the usual Steelers get walloped in the wild card gimmick. I'm not sure that they make it there. In fact, I don't think that they make it there. But this game was different in the sense that, like, Rodgers has been pretty good for Pittsburgh this year, and Rodgers was really, really bad in this game. But ultimately,
Rodgers has been great for the Steelers this year.
Yeah, he's had a good year. He has led to the best offense that they've had in a number of years as the defense had fallen off. And now I do think the defense has played better in the last couple weeks, but now the offense falls off in this one. And it's just a really, really poor showing. I mean, you even have a special teams mistake in here. It was just one of those everything going wrong kind of days for Pittsburgh. I did think that the Chargers defense was really impressive. I thought particularly their coverage was excellent. That was a good performance for them because this was the number one defense in football last year. That was a huge part of their formula, the number one scoring defense in the NFL. And they just hadn't quite been playing to that same level necessarily in recent weeks this year. I thought that this was an excellent showing from them. Unfortunately, with the Chargers, like, it's going to keep coming back to the same thing where all I can think about is what this team could be with Joe Alton Slater healthy, but they're both done for the year. And with that being the case, with this offensive line being what it is, with Justin Herbert still playing under so much pressure today, 5 sacks today, I believe the most pressured quarterback in football this year. Like, he's doing everything he can to elevate this offense. I just don't think they can go all the way with the worst offensive line in football. And they have the worst offensive line in football, dude. You see it every week. It was so funny, though, when they were flashing the PFF grades before the game. And it's like every Chargers offensive lineman, 35th out of 36 at the position, 36th out of 37 at the position. It's like, yeah, all these guys suck. They had 2 stars. They lost them both. And so that just limits what this team can ultimately be. But it's a good win for them, dude. 7-3. Props to Herbert for that. Props to the defense stepping up in this one. That being said, Logan, there is a team that wanted to improve to 7 wins in the AFC today and did not. That being the Buffalo Bills, who lost to the Miami Dolphins today for the first time in over 3 years. What do you have to say about Buffalo's performance in this one?
That was some sad ass shit, man. That's one of the worst games I've seen the Bills play in the Josh Allen era. They get shut out in the first half. They have 4 3-and-outs, and they have 3 catastrophic turnovers. Josh Allen has a fumble trying to get extra yards. He throws an interception in the red zone. That was ugly. James Cook loses a ball, and they have an additional turnover on downs. I mean, this game was like the Chargers. I'll say anytime the Steelers play the Chargers or the Raiders, we always lose there. I don't know why. This was weird because the Bills spank Miami every time they play. Like, it is not close. It's a boat race. Josh Allen and Buffalo own them. I understand that Buffalo may have been playing down a little bit, like in a sort of hangover scenario after playing Kansas City and getting amped up for that. Carson, I think this takes Buffalo out of my championship radar, man. I can't take this football team serious anymore. And I know how crazy that sounds because I am a guy that immensely believes in Josh Allen and his mystical powers and how great he is as a football player and how transcendent he can be individually to a team. And so I would never count Josh out. But I just don't think this team's got it, man. The run defense is among the worst in the NFL. Today, they allowed 197 yards on 6.2 yards per carry. Achane alone had 174 on nearly 8 yards a carry. On the season, they're allowing 5.5 yards per carry, which is the worst in the NFL and one of the worst marks in NFL history. And they've also allowed 14 touchdowns on the ground. That is second worst in the NFL. And so I just look at this team and it's like, I know what Josh is capable of. I know he can put this team on his back. They just don't have it, Carson. And I can't quite quantify it, but I look across this team. I don't think the defense is very good. I think they can be good in certain weeks, but the run defense is horrible. And then offensively, I do think they have another superstar player, and that's James Cook. But I don't think the offensive coordinators utilize him nearly enough or utilize him to the most of his abilities. And the wideout room is lacking a superstar that kicks them up a notch. And so I think this is either the exact same team or just a slightly more watered down version of the Bills that we've gotten over the last few years. And I just don't take them serious anymore, man. And also not just the fact that like the run defense has also been a consistent issue. This is also true for the Steelers. And I know you have to be sick and tired to your stomach of this, Carson. But the fact that we get so many games like this out of Buffalo every year, and I don't just mean a random loss. I just mean like a damn game where it feels like the Bills didn't show up for it. And I feel like it's just got to be infuriating, man. A game like this. I don't think the Bills are legit. And I think I'm taking them off of my top tier of contenders. I think I'm going to drop them out of my top 5.
Interesting. I am probably still higher on their long-term potential to contend than you are, because I think
Do
that
you still think
everybody
this
this year
team
has
is a
significant
Super Bowl
flaws.
contender?
I do, because I think that the bar for that this year is lower than it has been in most recent season, and I think they just beat the team that you would say is probably the team to beat in the AFC, the Chiefs. Would they be your favorite in the conference?
It might be fucking New England, man. I don't know.
Wow. I like New England. I can't get there with them. But the Bills just beat the Chiefs. They have the best resume of beating the Chiefs in recent years, and people will say, oh, the playoffs, and that's fine. But they have owned the Chiefs in the regular season, and I think the fact that they have the superstar quarterback who can go toe-to-toe with Mahomes, and if the pass rush replicates the performance that they had last week, that's a really good formula to do it. I just think the floor for this team, compared to the rest of the other very flawed teams that we're seeing around the NFL this year, is still really high because of Josh plus offensive line plus run game. That being said, I'm going to disagree with what you said about how, oh, this must be so frustrating because this happens for the Bills every year. It doesn't. The Bills had like
No,
zero
dude, I just mean
letdown game, ugly, bad losses last year. And they have two terrible ones.
Carson, I just don't mean like just last year. I mean in the Josh Allen era, it is like a trope almost, where I just feel like, I don't know, man, the Bills consistent McDermott and Mike Tomlin. I don't know if it's that damn William and Mary education in a big spot. I'm not saying this is in a big spot. I don't trust McDermott to have his team ready the way I don't trust Mike Tomlin to have his team ready. And it's like, the Bills are a team that can constantly, at any given game, play down to their competition and shit their pants. And I feel like
that's more true for every team in the NFL than maybe you're saying, and you think about it more with the Bills, because we talk about the Bills a lot, and I'm a Bills fan. Like, they've been as consistent as anybody. Like, if you look at every category in terms of regular season success since 2020, it's the Chiefs, it's the Bills, and then there's a gap,
I'm not
and
saying
it's
they haven't been
everybody else.
consistently great. I'm just saying that they are capable of meltdowns like this.
Everybody is. The Chiefs started the year 1-3. The Chiefs lost to the Jags. Like, that happens to everybody. Now, it's inexcusable that it's happened twice to the Bills. But what I'm disagreeing with is the idea that it's characteristic of this team. Like, they have, in fact, feasted upon this shitty division at a historic level. McDermott
I think
sucks.
it's a McDermott thing.
McDermott sucks. I just think you're mixing criticisms here where you're talking about, yeah, he sucks in a big spot. I'll agree with you there. This is the antithesis of a big spot.
Well, I think a
this
big
playing
spot.
The Miami Dolphins.
I think about week 1 versus the Jets a couple of years back. I think about the Steelers
Josh
game a couple of years back.
Game.
Like
2 years ago,
the Bills are
just week 1. That was on Josh. That was the worst game of his career since he became the player who he is. Look, I think that this is beside the point.
I'm just tired of seeing games like this out of Buffalo, man. I expect way more out of this team, and I just don't think this team is as good as I thought they were.
Here's the reason that I'm pointing out that it is uncharacteristic, because it is. They said a stat on the broadcast today. The Bills had the longest streak in NFL history of not having a loss by more than one score within the division. 40 games. It had gone back to 2018 that they had at least been in every single game against the division and overwhelmingly dominated the division in that time, and 5 straight division titles. And they have dominated no team more so than Miami. They were 9-1 against Tua coming into this game. They averaged 33 points per game in this matchup. Josh Allen literally putting up God numbers against them, like 312 yards per game, 3 touchdowns per game, crazy efficiency, defense shutting Miami down. Tua's numbers against Buffalo are horrible. Like, that's why this is so concerning, that this is a team that you have owned, you have obliterated every single time you faced, and now this is the worst they've ever been. They're at their absolute low point, and you totally lay an egg. And the Falcons game was another spot in which they totally laid an egg, and these are like so far below the standard for the Bills. The Dolphins suck, man. And the Bills lost this game by 17 points. I think there's a lot that is worthy of lambasting about this performance. But to me, the most concerning part is the receiver play. And this is something that I've probably downplayed over the last 2 years. And I've said, if you're a top 3 offense in football, like, people probably focus on that one limitation too much. The fact that they don't have that number 1 receiver, it hasn't prevented them from averaging 30 points per game. And for the most part, that is true because the run game is so good. The line is so good. And Josh is such a special elevator of the talent around him. And he can do such crazy stuff, extending plays and making tight window throws. And the screen game is really good. But man, I understand there's a number of mistakes in this game. The 2 fumbles were bad. I mean, those are backbreaking, especially because they come at the end of like big positive plays in opponent territory. You're just fighting for extra yardage and they end like that. That's brutal, but they don't worry me. Those are fluke plays. Those are one-offs. What worries me is that for the entirety of this football game, no receivers were getting any separation. And the only way this offense could create an explosive play, because the run game was not effective today, which doesn't happen often, but it happened today, was Josh running around for 5+ seconds and making something crazy happen, like the 3rd and 16, where he probably ran around for 9 seconds and fully rolled out to his left and then turned his back in reversed field and is like making multiple guys miss. The 4th and 16, where again, it's a crazy play extension, big time throw to Khalil Shakir, the touchdown to Jackson Hawes. Like, Josh made some insane plays today. He really did. Hell of a highlight reel from him today, but you don't want to be relying on that every play in the passing game. And I've talked about how I like the complementary nature of this receiving core in the sense that, like, you have certain guys who are good at certain things. But it does feel like whenever the offense gets quiet for the Bills, it has to do with the limitations of this receiving core. Keon Coleman, right? He's a jump ball guy. That's good for like a play a game. He's also a 0 separation guy. His hands are unreliable. I just don't think he's very good, unfortunately. I just don't think that that was a good pick. Khalil Shakir has become like almost exclusively a screen guy for this offense. And he's great after the catch, but he averages, coming into today, 1.3 yards before catch. Like, he's catching the ball a yard beyond the line of scrimmage on average. That's the 3rd shortest mark of any wide receiver in football. So he has not been utilized as a versatile guy, as somebody who actually gets open downfield. He's just this screen release valve. And the screen game is good for the Bills. I still think they rely on it a little bit too much. But then again, if guys aren't separating downfield, your hands are tied to some extent with what you actually can call. So Dalton Kincaid is the one guy in this room who I really do like, but if he goes out like he did today with a hamstring injury, you don't actually have a versatile pass catcher. You don't have somebody who separates, who gets open. And even Kincaid, who I love, isn't explosive. There is a total lack of explosive field, speed downfield, like somebody who can take the top off a defense. They just don't have that guy. And when I think about the construction of the Bills offenses in the Josh Allen era, they've been a top 3 offense every year. I think they were actually number 6 one year, but every other year they've been top 3 in points per game, but they've done it in very different ways. Like the early 2020s Josh Allen offenses, Brian Dable into Ken Dorsey, who sucked, but they invested more at receiver. You had a really good receiving core, right? Like 2020, Cole Beasley, John Brown, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis is your number 4. And yes, they put a ton of Josh's plate. He had to carry them. The offensive line wasn't that good. The running back sucked. But at least they gave him the weapons that complement what he does best, what he does at this superhuman level, which is sling the ball around the yard, right? Now they have put a group around him that puts less pressure on him in the sense that, yeah, they're an elite rushing attack now, and they're really, really good at protecting for him. And so he doesn't have to make some of these crazy superhuman plays or throw the ball 40 times a game. But they've also taken away those dudes who can actually separate and make big plays and make life easier on him when they do need one of those explosive Josh Allen performances. So I understand there's the trade-off. You can't have it all when you're building a football team, but the report is they tried to go get Waddle at the deadline. They offered a first for Waddle. That would have been amazing, man. You know, that's the kind of move where it's like, bam, now I love this team.
Well, no, apparently you guys offered a 27 first and a 26 third, but the Dolphins wanted a 26 first.
I would have parted way with the 26 first. I think that the whole calculus on devalue.
I mean, if I was Miami, I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have played ball with you guys either way, just because you're in division. But they also apparently tried to get Quinnen Williams too.
I know.
But that fell through.
That's what sucks, man. When the only 2 teams who are having a fire sale are in your division, I guess it doesn't matter how terrible they are. If I'm the Dolphins, if I'm the Jets, I'm only worried about the return that I'm getting because I'm so far away. I'm not worried about, how do I compete with the Bills for the division? I don't want to give them too many assets. I'm just thinking, I want the best return I can get. And that's fine if they want to keep Waddle. He's a hell of a football player, but that's unfortunate that they missed out on that. And the trade-off to prioritize the run game, there are instances in which I think that's a good thing. And it sets the floor for this offense really high. And then there are certain days like this where it's just frustrating because you just don't have the playmakers in the passing game. And like, you tell me what you think, Logan. I genuinely believe that Josh played pretty well today. Like, the fumble was costly. The pick was bad for sure, especially considering situation. You're in the red zone, but also nobody was open on that play. Nobody had been open all drive. Nobody was open all game. Again, unless Josh was making multiple pass rushers miss, and they ran the ball poorly. So the fact that he still gave them 340 yards of offense efficiently, like, I was not blown away by his performance. Obviously, he made mistakes, but he certainly was not the problem out there. But what did you make of his performance?
Yeah, it was good. I don't know. I always think that logic's funny. If we take away his 2 really costly turnovers, he played a great game. But
No. Hold on. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying even that, factoring those things in, I still think he played a solid game.
He played
a lot of good stuff.
I don't think
those 2 bad plays.
Here's my thing. Josh's margin has shrunk because of how shitty this defense is. Like, at the end of the day, my issue isn't ever going to be with the Buffalo offense. My issue fundamentally at the core is I think this is a team that is built to beat the Chiefs, and they are built to lose against a bunch of other teams in the AFC, like New England, vulnerable. We've already seen that story. Indianapolis, I think Jonathan Taylor could fucking gash Buffalo in a playoff scenario. Dude. I mean, that's my thing. Is like, I think this team was built to take down Kansas City. It's like the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Like, Minnesota is beat to defeat Denver, but then they're going to lose to some of these other teams. It's like, I think Buffalo can take down Kansas City, but I think a lot of other teams got their number because they have, I don't want to undersell it. Like, they have one of the most significant flaws of any Super Bowl contender this season. Not that, like we've said, not that other teams aren't, but the Bills have one of the most gaping, glaring flaws of any big-time contender.
The run defense is an abomination. Here's why I'm talking about the offense, though, because we know the run defense is an abomination. And yes, it's gotten even worse. Yes, it is horrible, but it was a problem last year. The defense has never, ever stepped up in a big spot for this team, right? They have consistently been letting up 30-something points in their playoff losses, and we understand that. It is the offense that you expect to be elite every single week. It is the offense that is top 3 every year. That was second in points per drive coming into today. And it's a great offense, of course, but you have to nitpick because if the Bills want to go deep, the offense has to be perfect. And when the Bills have lost this year, the defense hasn't played well, but they put up 20 points against New England. They put up 14 points against Atlanta. They put up 13 points today. Those losses, especially the last 2, are on the offense. And the fact that there is this lack of, again, explosive speed and playmaking in the receiver group, it is concerning. It is frustrating. It's not going to be the thing that keeps the Bills from averaging 29, 30 points per game overall. They can do that. But it could be the thing that in one specific big game gets them. It's been the thing that has gotten them when they have got this year. And I just did not like to see that today. I thought it was a horrifically bad performance from the receivers. And I think the all 22 is going to be very, very damning when you see just how many plays there is nowhere to go with the football. That being said, the run defense, whoo, man, you read off the numbers, but Achane had 195 yards after contact today. 195 yards after contact, dude. The tackling is so abysmal.
Oh,
that includes receiving.
Okay.
That includes receiving. This is after they allowed a record-breaking yards after contact performance to the fucking Saints, dude. Like, the tackling is so horrible.
That's what just makes my stomach turn when I watch Buffalo play. Is I think Buffalo has a lot of these similar issues that I see with Pittsburgh. They are very pressure dependent. And what I mean by that is if they don't initially get pressure at home, and again, this is a blanket statement you could say for a lot of defenses, but they're not good on the back end. Like, if they can't dominate you at the line of scrimmage or get any push, they're going to get marched on. This is a team that I think Buffalo's worse in this regard. Both of these teams, not very good at tackling, and they don't have very many explosive athletes that can keep up. Like, when I think about the Chargers, the fact that they have a guy like Henley in the middle that can just blow shit up and, it can cover so much ground. Like, he's a massive difference maker. And he's all over the field. Like, these are both teams that are very dependent on pressure, that don't have great coverage on the back end, that can't really tackle, and are very slow at all three levels. And that is just a recipe. Let me be clear. I still think the Bills defense is probably, I don't know. I think they're both pretty shit. I think they're probably a little better at full strength. But these are both unserious units, man. I'm surprised, though. Like, I don't know, man. This is a damning loss to me.
It's a terrible loss. It's a terrible loss. And I will speak on the embarrassing defensive stuff for another second, because even though the offense has to be much better than it was today, the Achane stuff, him being as dominant as he was, when he is the entire offense for the entire game, and they are going to him every time. I mean, it was literally all Achane in one explosive play to Jalen Waddle, who absolutely burnt Max Harrison.
Incredibly frustrating stuff, man.
Yeah, no, it's so embarrassing. By the way, Max Harrison, I thought, was very good in his first couple games, but that was concerning. He just got toasted by Waddle. He was on an island with Jalen Waddle. That's tough, but
he's good, though. I do like Harrison for the future for you guys.
I think he's good, too. And he changed this defense the first couple weeks that he was in the lineup, which was encouraging to me. And I thought last week against the Chiefs was the best the Bills defense had played. And then they come out and they do this. But, like, Tua wasn't good today. Tua threw 2 bad picks. Tua was barely asked to do anything. It was Achane, and they couldn't bring him to the ground. And even when you're down 10, needing a stop quickly to get the ball back, and they're running it every time just to burn clock, keep the ball on the ground, play it safe. 59-yard Achane rushing touchdown. Okay, well, now the game is basically out of reach. But hold on, the Bills score. They're down 10 again. This is the last chance. Now you need to get a stop, and then you need an onside recovery, and the odds are long. But you get them to 3rd and 8. They're running the football. 35-yard Achane rushing touchdown. And it's like, yes, this is a spot where it's a run blitz. You're selling out. And so if he gets past the first level of the defense, there's really nobody there to stop him. But the Bills have repeatedly had those issues where they have to load up the box. They have to be aggressive because they don't have big-time playmakers up front. And yet they still don't actually bring guys down on first contact. And so they just bust open these big runs. Like, it is so bad. So when you talk about their vulnerabilities, I agree. I think they are vulnerable to any team that can run the football really well, because the Dolphins only had to do one thing today, run the football, to put up 30 on the Bills and to put up 2 touchdowns on them when Buffalo knew exactly what they were doing. So it is a horrible response. After a great win last week, it is inexcusable. This and the Atlanta game are horrific. And now you're a game and a half back in the division. And that's a bad spot to be in. And it just bums me out that they couldn't make a trade at the deadline, because a defensive upgrade, especially a guy like Quinnen Williams who could make an impact in the run game defensively, or a receiver like Waddle, like, that would have been great and would have made a real difference for this team. That being said, I still think that they can beat anybody because of what this offense can do, because of what Josh can do, and because at least this defense has better pass rushers. But the run defense really does concern me. And now, like, you might be looking at this team going through a wild card path for the first time. You got to go on the road. That hasn't happened since 2020. They've won the division every year. So it's unacceptable stuff. That being said, I'm not going to go with as definitive a big picture takeaway as you, because of the things I do still believe in so much with these Bills. And because I do think we have seen significant flaws and really bad games from pretty much everybody in the NFL this year. But yeah, they've got their red flags, and it's got to get cleaned up fast. And I'm going to be at the game next weekend against the Bucs. That's going to be a big one, man. That's a quality opponent, and you got to right the ship. And it seemed like they had righted the ship against Carolina, against Kansas City. Those were really good back-to-back performances off the bye. And then this is just a total regression spot for them. There's another team in the AFC, Logan, though, who had very high preseason hopes and who has had certainly a rougher season, yet the momentum is going in a positive direction. The Baltimore Ravens pick up a win over the Minnesota Vikings today. They're 3rd in a row. They are now up to 4-5 on the year. The Vikings drop to 4-5. What did you take away from this one?
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens have a chance to run the table, man. I wrote them off. The biggest reason was I thought they were going to lose that game with Tyler Huntley starting at quarterback, and I thought they were going to drop to 6 games, which in that case really means you got to run the table. And I thought Lamar's probably not even going to come back. Like, Tyler Huntley legitimately kept this team season alive by getting them that victory. And
by the way, the only quarterback to beat the Bears in the last 7 games.
True. And you look, like you've mentioned, a bunch this season. They're 4-5 now. Should be 7-5 after week 13. Their next 3 games at Cleveland, and then they host the Jets and host the Bengals. They would have to run the table with the rest of these opponents, but I think it's very possible. They've got Pittsburgh twice. They've got Cincy. They've got New England, and they've got Green Bay. There's definitely some hard games in there, like both games against Pittsburgh. I don't think will be pushovers. And then New England and Green Bay, I think that they're going to have to bring their A game to beat both of them. But Baltimore's got a real chance to win the division, a real chance to be in the playoffs. And the other reason why I was so confident is I just didn't think the Steelers were going to lose ground like this, man. I thought they were going to take care of more business and have a bigger lead than this. I didn't expect them to lose to LA down both starting tackles, just kind of an inverse of what I expected to happen. So Baltimore, they're very much alive, man. And if they get there, I get the defense isn't what it has been, and I don't think it is. Like, the defense doesn't scare me the way Baltimore's defense normally does, but Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are still as scary and as potent of a quarterback-running back duo as you can get in the league. So I'm back there with you, man, with Baltimore. I think there is a very real and scary chance that they could win this division and crash the postseason party.
Yeah, they don't look like the juggernaut that I thought that they would be. The defense hasn't been what I thought it would be, and obviously they've had a lot of injuries there. And Derrick Henry, I don't think has been in the same dominant form that he was in last year, but still, like you said, the totality of this offense with Lamar on the field, still having Derrick Henry and the best receiving group they've had, like, it is super explosive and super scary, and the defenses at least look better. So I don't think if there's any revelations coming out of this game, I don't know that we're really going to learn anything about Baltimore again for a while until they actually play a good football team. And it's going to be a while before they have to do that, man. I mean, you said it, the next 3, nothing is given this year for the Ravens or anybody. It's been a crazy fucking season in the NFL. 7-5 feels very likely though. And I think 10 wins gets you this division, and I think the Ravens get to 10 wins, and once they get there, they are a big threat to make a run, and they could be really hot. So that is not surprising. I mean, that's been my expectation when Lamar gets back out there healthy with this soft schedule, and now it's starting to be materialized. I think the more interesting side of this game is Minnesota, Logan, and specifically J.J. McCarthy. We're 4 starts deep in his career. There's a lot of discourse about 9. I'm sorry. I shouldn't call him JJ. I don't want to address him improperly on game day. He goes by 9. That's his alter ego, and he likes to feed that wolf. Where are you at with 9, Logan?
I don't think 9 can read a defense. That's kind of my big concern with JJ. You know, he's got some tools, but he's not good. I like his legs. There's a lot of these quarterbacks that I'm not sure about. Jackson Dart, Bo Nix. Like, I have no idea about their arm talent and ability to read a defense, but they can scoot a little bit.
They breed them athletic these days, Logan. These white boys are moving.
They are. I mean, 5 carries for 48 yards in this game. McCarthy had 2 clutch 4th down plays for a conversion and a touchdown. Sick. Other side of that coin, under 50% completion, 2 picks, and they went 3 of 14 on 3rd downs. The interceptions, man, I don't know what the hell McCarthy is looking at. Like, McCarthy is... It's a meme, but, like, he is legitimately just going, fuck it. I'm going to just throw it up there. Like, I just think he's, when you can, what's the word I'm looking for here? When you can, like, keep him leashed, like when you can keep him running the short, intermediate, middle concepts underneath JJ from the line of scrimmage to 10 yards downfield on drags, curls, outs, ins, okay, I'm with it. Anytime McCarthy has to push the ball downfield, though, I have a sinking feeling in my stomach that I only really got when, like, Nathan Peterman dropped back. I just have this impending feeling of doom when he pushes the ball downfield. I just go, this is not a good decision. It is probably going to be a turnover. I don't think McCarthy's good. I think he's got turnover. I think he's got tools, but, like, until we see that realized into more consistency, I'm just not going to be bought in. I don't think that was the only issue today. Obviously, Minnesota has that kickoff that gets recovered by Baltimore. I thought the bigger issue was the fact that they had 13 penalties for 102 yards. I don't know if I saw them all. I at least saw 5 of them that were false starts. That was really bad stuff from Minnesota in this game too, but I haven't been moved, man. I get he's had like 2 good moments in the fourth quarter, but
Yeah.
I think 9 just kind of sucks.
He definitely sucks right now, dude. And if you're a Vikings fan and you want to be optimistic about the future and say, hold on, this guy is, I believe, still just 22 years old. He's had 4 career starts. Let's give him more time. Look, I'd hear you out on that. Personally, I think he's been dropped into a pretty good situation with KOC calling plays, with the receiving talent that they have, with an elite defense who's taking some of the pressure off him to have to pour on points to win these games. Like, my take coming into the year was, if he doesn't look good, that's concerning because the situation is pretty good. But if you want to say, okay, let's give it time, that's all right. The conversation I will not entertain whatsoever, though, is anybody trying to tell me that JJ McCarthy doesn't suck right now, because JJ McCarthy sucks right now. Like, dude, out of 37 quarterbacks who have attempted 100 or more passes this year, he is dead last in passer rating, 65, brother. He is dead last in completion percentage. He is 36th in interception percentage.
Passer rating.
Passer rating.
To 158.3.
65.
Wow, dude, we're talking,
I believe.
That's under JP Lossman. We're in JP Lossman territory. We're in Spurgeon win territory.
We are in some dark, dark places. We're below Paxton Lynch territory. Like, this is the lowest of the low. I think we might be below Johnny Football territory, dude. It's really, really bad. He has the second worst interception percentage in football, Logan. Worse than Tua, the only player who is worse, the one and only Jake Browning. He's 28th in yards per attempt. He has the second highest sack percentage, over 12%. Like, there's just a lot of major issues right now. He is really inaccurate.
Damn, man, they gotta send him down to the minor leagues, man.
He's just not ready, dude. He's just not ready. He was spraying throws today, negative 12% completion percentage over expected, terrible. And the decision-making was bad, dude. I mean, those 2 picks throwing deep, like, those are awful. Those are big, bad misses.
Gifts.
Gifts, dude. Gifts. And then on top of that, he's got this super shaky, frenetic pocket presence. He had big problems taking way too many sacks, not today, but over his first 3 starts. Like, what we've seen from him is bad. And the good moments have been a couple of good clutch plays that he has made in their 2 wins, surrounded by a vast majority of bad. So I just don't know how Vikings fans, if they're being honest with themselves, cannot be disappointed right now. When you think about what this team hoped to achieve last year, when you think about the fact that they had a 14-win season and then they upgraded talent in the offseason, and then they said, okay, this is our guy at quarterback. This is our first rounder. Now he's healthy. Now he's ready. We're all in. We're not going to try to keep a Daniel Jones. We're not going to spend the money to keep a Sam Darnold. Here we go. And this is the result. Bad quarterback play is costing you games. The defense is there. The offensive playmakers are there. I will say, in terms of play calling in this game, they had to run the ball more. Like, handing it off 13 times and having JJ drop back like 45 times, that is insane. Especially because this wasn't like a long shot comeback effort. This was mostly a 1-score game. It got to be 2 scores in the fourth quarter, but like, they can't put that kind of burden on him. But the reason that they can't do that is because he's a bad quarterback right now. You know, with Sam Darnold, you could do that. He was somebody who obviously you wanted to set up the play action game with the run, but they still were a high passing volume offense, and he was very good. He had his flaws, but he was very good. JJ is just incapable of consistently making the throws, making the reads, making the decisions, having the pocket awareness, not taking negative plays. Like, he's just bad at everything right now, except his legs are good.
I completely agree. I was going to ask you, did you see either of those plays? Did you see that Adam Thielen penalty at all?
Yes. Yeah.
I really did not like that call. What did you think about that?
No, I agree.
Like, that to me, that was not in the traditional spirit. They called a blindside block.
But actually, well, here's what I'll say about that. I thought that was a technicality because it was going to be offensive pass interference. So I mean, does it really matter? Either way, it's a 15-yard penalty.
I hate when they
or a
call
10-yard
licks back
penalty
like
for
that.
offensive pass
The other
interference.
one I didn't like, they also called a roughing the passer on Dallas Turner on Lamar Jackson that I thought was just incredibly soft as well, that extended a drive for Baltimore where, again, I don't know if these things really make that big of a difference. When you've got 9 back there at quarterback, you have a very little chance of winning. But I didn't like either of those calls.
Well, I don't know if we can say they have a very little chance of winning because they still have a really good football roster and they're a brilliantly coached team. And that's the reason that they do still have a chance to win games. And I don't think that they're going to be bad this year. They're sitting here at almost 500 and they've had really bad quarterback play. Wentz was also big picture really bad when he was on the field. They have strengths that give them a chance, but the quarterback position is very, very much so holding them back. You saw that yesterday.
Dude, put
I
in
don't like
Minnesota
what we've seen from
legend
JJ
Max
at all.
Brosmer. It's time, dude. It's time.
Well, that would be a hell of a move, wouldn't it, Logan? I just don't see the upside with JJ that people get excited about. Everything positive that comes out about JJ McCarthy is just actually saying how much of a freak he is, how weird of a guy he is. That's what we're supposed to get excited about.
And
I'm
don't.
Can
I'm
I get a trait? Can I get a moment? Or
all it is him
moments on film?
He's just looking at the camera
dude, when they almost pulled off the trick play today, did you see that where they threw the screen to Jettas and set everything up?
I don't know
and
if I did see this one. No.
They almost converted a 3rd and long. It was a great play design, and JJ actually made a guy miss. And then he was laughing in the defender's face, and they showed that a million times. It's man, you didn't even get the first down. He's I almost had you. Well, 9, you didn't. I don't know. Not liking what I'm seeing there at all. But you know what I am liking, Logan?
You know what, real quick, you know what energy he's giving?
What?
You're not going to like me when I'm angry.
It reminds me a lot of you in that way, Logan. You've got multiple personalities. You've got alter egos. Thank God they never show up on the pod. I have to deal with them alone. And it's a terrifying and traumatizing experience, as is playing against the LA Rams right now, Logan. They are just cruising and hung 42 points on the Niners today. How about them Rams? What'd you take away from this one?
Rams are one of the top dogs in the NFC, man. I keep getting higher and higher on the Rams. And maybe some people come away from this game and they're not that impressed with the Niners, this victory over the Niners. They go, San Francisco's really beat up. They're incredibly injured at all these different positions. This isn't a surprise. To that, I would say both of these coaches, whatever they say, I don't think they like each other. They prep the hell out of their teams for this game. This is a real deal rivalry between both of these teams. They both come in and they take it damn serious. And the Rams put belt to ass on them. That speaks volumes to me, no matter how dinged up San Francisco is. And the way they were able to do it with that 13 personnel set, San Francisco didn't have anything for them. Ran the ball down their throats. Stafford was picking them apart out of play action. This is a bludgeoning, and this is what great football teams do. They take on good football teams, and they utterly dismantle them. They pick them apart. I think the Niners are a very good football team. I think they are going to be knocking on the door of these playoff conversations, even though they're beat up at the end of this year. I don't necessarily know if they're going to get in. But what I'm saying is this is a fringe playoff contender, and the Rams just spanked them. I think the Rams are one of the best teams in the NFC. They're a real deal Super Bowl contender to me. And hot damn, Matthew Stafford is playing some MVP level football right now.
He is, dude. He is playing out of his mind. I mean, let's just take a moment to appreciate him. First of all, absolutely destroyed the blitz today. 13 of 18 for 161 yards and 4 touchdowns against the blitz. And overall this year, he currently has the 5th highest passer rating ever in a season by a quarterback 35 or older. Leads the NFL in passing yards per game and touchdown interception ratio, Logan, 25-2. He's just off 2013 Nick Foles territory. He's so close that he can smell it. He can taste it. And it tastes good. I mean, that is a beautiful place to be when you're talking about Big Dick Nick that year. He's just so crazy good. And a moment to acknowledge he is now 500 in his career. For the first time, Matthew Stafford has gotten to the even wins and losses mark. I saw a great tweet from Theo today who said that Stafford is a Christ-like figure for the not his fault movement. Talk about the guy who proves that big picture wins are not a quarterback stat, certainly not the best quarterback stat. And there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into that on the football field. Matthew Stafford, been one of the best for a long time, one of the best to ever do it. And now he's got the group around him that is leading to wins. So that's very fun to see.
Him and Eli Manning are now both 500 exactly for their careers. I think that's fascinating.
And who is way better, Logan? Matt Stafford.
It's a guy who has 2 Super Bowl rings, right?
Oh,
it's gotta be. It's gotta be.
What about the guy who has 1 Super Bowl ring? No, that's not enough because 1 is less than 2. You're right. Only a 2-time Pro Bowler, Matt Stafford, dude. He's been so criminally underrated for so long. He's such a dog. The other thing, though, that I think is worth noting is what you mentioned. Great stat. The Rams have been in 13 personnel more over these last 4 weeks than they had been in the entire rest of McVay's career with the Rams. Like, they started going to it more in Puka's absence. They have stuck with it now that Puka is back out there, and they're just so good running and passing out of those looks. Stafford is such a brilliant play-action quarterback. Every single week, dude. Also, he looks people off. He tricks them with his eyes. That clip when he said, "Don't look at my eyes," that was like the greatest trash talk I've ever seen. What a cool thing to be able to talk shit about. He's fucking awesome, man. And the Rams are awesome. And I'm at a place where, like, the NFC West could have the 2 best teams in the conference. I don't know.
That's exactly where I'm at. I completely agree with you.
Like, I can't say it with confidence.
I think Seattle's
say anything with confidence this year in the NFL.
I think Seattle's number 1 to me. I mean, I'm there with them.
Here's what I will say with confidence. They have the 2 teams in the NFC that are playing the best football right now. And there's nothing that I see about either of these teams that makes me think, yeah, they're going to fall off. Yeah, this isn't totally legitimate. Elite pass rush for the Rams, elite overall defense for the Seahawks, elite quarterback play from both these teams. I mean, 2 of the MVP frontrunners up to this point, really good coaches, elite playmakers in the receiving game, like really impressive stuff from both of them. And for the Niners, I feel today the same way that I felt about their last loss to the Texans, which is at some point a lack of talent comes back to bite you. Just not having the Jimmies and Joes on the football team does come back to bite you, no matter how well coached you are, no matter how many diamonds in the rough you may find. Like, that's going to be where this team falls flat when they do. That being said, I thought McCorkle was actually really good in this game. I thought McCorkle was quite excellent. I thought he was able to get rid of the ball quickly to negate that elite pass rush some. He's even been moving around a little bit more this year. I mean, nice redemption arc from him. They just couldn't stop the Rams. 42 points. You're not going to be able to keep up if you get into a shootout like that with Matt Stafford and the boys. You know who's been in some shootouts this year, Logan? The number 1 scoring offense in the NFL, the Colts, who were playing across the pond today, and they got a win over the Atlanta Falcons, a dramatic overtime victory. What did you take away from this?
I mean, I think Jonathan Taylor has jumped right back into MVP talks once again after this game. 244 yards on the ground, 7.6 yards per carry. You look up, and on the year, 1,139 yards, 15 rushing TDs, 6 yards per carry, nearly 1,400 total yards, 17 total TDs, and 6.4 yards per touch. He's averaging the 5th most yards per carry in a single season ever by a running back. Like,
wow.
Something beautiful about it, man. Like, I thought we had lost. I didn't know if we were ever going to have, like, running backs like this. And seeing Saquon and Jonathan Taylor do it in back-to-back years is just inspiring.
It's so back. People want to bitch about too high shells. Well, how about the run game coming back, dude? How about people punching you right in the gut, running it down your throat over and over again? How about a guy like Jonathan Taylor looking at a nickel defense and laughing and saying, none of these soft DBs can tackle me? That's what's up, man. Great running back seasons rock, and they are so back. That's all I've got to say about it. That, and I was just laughing, thinking about how much I want the Bills to not have to play Jonathan Taylor ever.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah, you're going to say I don't think he should be the MVP.
You don't think he should? I was going to say you don't think any running back should ever win any award, though.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. That's why we have Offensive Player of the Year. I don't think a running
back should ever win I'm MVP. Busting your balls, buddy. It's called the
on camera. Oh, dear God, Logan. It is still a family program. Yeah, shout out to Jonathan Taylor. Just an incredible, incredible performance. Ridiculous season. I will say this Colts offense is great, obviously. Last couple weeks, Danny Dimes has been putting the ball in harm's way more. Last week, of course, was the really bad performance, 5 turnovers. This week, he played better. But Did throw a pick, did have 3 fumbles today, only one of them lost, and he did take 7 sacks. And I think we are seeing teams really, really look to bring pressure. This has been Atlanta's identity all year. They've been the most blitz-heavy defense in football, but they really heated them up. They got a lot of pressure, and it mostly worked, especially on third downs. They were able to bring that pressure, get off the field, and so I'm just a little bit worried about his completeness as a quarterback when it comes to the Colts Super Bowl aspirations, which is what they're gunning for now. But they get a win in this one against the Falcons team that isn't bad, but a Falcons team that is inconsistent. What are you thinking about their quarterback situation right now? Let's start there. Like, where are we at with Michael Penix? We're 13 starts deep into his career. We're getting to that Bill Walsh number. We're getting close. Where is the Logan Camden quarterback analysis at with him?
I think Zach Robinson sucks.
Oh,
I think that's
okay.
my take. I think that's what I'm going with, man. I just think that, they've shuffled quarterbacks around. I just don't like the way this guy calls. I don't think Michael Penix has been that good either. Like, I can't lie. Like, it's weird, man. Like, I think about Penix and I'm like, he's got a lot of traits I like. He's got a pretty live arm. He's got decent legs when he needs to get mobile and move around. But the things that infuriate me about him, while he does have straight line speed and burst, because of the accumulation of all the knee injuries that he suffered, he's not extremely agile and he doesn't really run a ton, right? It's not just a part of his MO. So he doesn't really weaponize his speed as often as he could. He is fast, but he doesn't use his legs that often. He's got a live arm, but his mechanics and footwork and accuracy aren't that great. They're routinely on different pages. So there's a level of inconsistency that I'm not getting with Penix. And that is a bigger issue because the big selling point for Michael Penix when he was coming out of college is the fact, this guy's played so much college football. He is so pro ready. He's accurate. This is a guy that you can draft and play immediately. And so now that we are in year 2 and he is so, it's not like an Anthony Richardson where you can go, okay, he's got growing pains and we need to give this guy more time and he's going to figure it out. Or there are tools. He doesn't have that high of a ceiling because he's an older prospect and there's not a ton to pop there. And he's not as polished as an older prospect should be. So my thing, I'd clear house. I'd kick Zach Robinson out of town. I'd kick Michael Penix out of town. Kirk Cousins is a statue. That guy can't play anymore. Like,
put him out to pasture. Set him upstate.
Yeller. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like a lot of what the Falcons have. I really like their offensive line at full strength. I think Bijan Robinson is one of the best running backs in the game. I think Drake London is a top 10 wideout. I think this defense is massively improved, but they are thoroughly mediocre. And a big reason for that, in my opinion, is the offensive coordinator and Penix. I've been disappointed by Penix, Carson, and I don't think he's a franchise guy, unfortunately.
I agree. I have been kind of in the spot where I'm holding out and I'm walking the line with him, straddling the fence. I don't like what I'm seeing at this point. It's just the inaccuracy more than anything, like just the inability to make some of those throws that you just have to make. He's spraying the ball all around the field today, and that just happens way too often. And it feels like if you're in on him at this point, the only thing you're in on is arm talent. The fact that he's got a big arm, but it just doesn't translate to results nearly enough. So I think I'm with you at the point of like, you're probably cleaning house. I think that Raheem Morris, even though this is only year 2, probably going to be gone. These are just such disappointing results for Atlanta to be 3-6 with how they've actually nailed some of these picks at the top of the draft, Penix being an exception, but some of the elite skill position talent they have gotten.
Damn, man.
I think the coach who deserves credit, Jeff Ulbrich, at least has improved this defense.
Penix is number 1 in highest bad throw percentage, and he is 5th worst in on-target percentage, just to back up some of these accuracy stats that we're talking about.
It's bad. It's bad. So something's got to change in Atlanta. I think it might be coach. I think it might be quarterback. I think that we might see some big moves made after this year, just because when you've got premier players at premier positions like Drake London and Bijan Robinson, you just can't remain in this place where you're not in the playoff picture. Like they've been walking this line of 7 wins, 8 wins, and now it feels like they're going backwards this year, and that just can't be the case. It's inexcusable and disappointing from them. There's a team, though, Logan, that is very much moving forward. Another team that drafted a quarterback just last year that I think has to be feeling a lot better about how things are going for them. The Chicago Bears got another dramatic win today over the Giants. They are now 6-3 on the year after an 0-2 start, Logan. What did you take away from this one?
Yeah, Caleb continues to put on some heroics in some big spots, man. What he did with his legs at the end of this game was extremely impressive. 2 massive scrambles that swung this game and set up touchdowns for the Bears clutch. 8 carries, 63 yards on the day, 283 total yards, 2 touchdowns. And what was really impressive to me was his legs and arm in tandem. You know, it wasn't just the big scrambles at the end. It was some of the play extension and self-creation that you got from him, the sack evasion. Like, I think overall this has been a really encouraging stretch and encouraging year from Caleb. Not that there's nothing that he needs to clean up. I still think accuracy, footwork, mechanics, consistency, that is his big question mark down to down. But some of the special kind of playmaking that you're getting from Caleb is really encouraging. But I can't say he's been consistent throughout every single game, but it's getting a little bit more consistent. That accuracy and some of that stuff, it's coming together more. And I haven't wavered from this take, even though I know some people have jumped ship from Chicago. I still think Ben Johnson is the guy. I still think Caleb is the guy. I think this is going to be a long and beautiful marriage for the Bears. And Caleb continues. It is. Yep. Caleb continues.
Marijuana. You know that? You can smoke that doobie you've been rolling up in secret now out in the open. And we can get married.
Not in Virginia. Still, unfortunately. Not back. Recreationally. Yeah.
State
just
law,
medically.
I forgot.
Just medically. Yeah.
I apologize.
So I would never. But
no, of course not.
I like Caleb. And if he so wants, you know, he can spark a doobie, and he could, in theory, propose to Ben Johnson if he really wanted that.
Yeah, it's a bit of an age gap now that I think about it. Although Ben is a pretty young, sexy coach.
I think it could do some real wonders for their chemistry.
It could, but that's a double-edged sword. Because there's always the downside of you don't want what's going on off the field to interfere with what's on the field. I don't know. We'll see. But they're probably not going to get married at the end of the day. I think you were using that more as a figure of speech. And I agree with you in terms of the head coach quarterback tandem. I really like Ben Johnson. And I think the most significant change for the Bears as they've gotten hot, it hasn't been Caleb's play, even though I think Caleb has gotten better. It's really been just how good the run game has been. Since they came out of the bye, that's where they've become one of the elite rushing attacks in football.
One guy's the best running back on this roster.
Yeah, he's been really good for them. DeAndre Swift had a good game today. And also, like, Caleb was absolutely part of the success in the run game today. He was really, really good as a scrambler. As you mentioned, those 2 huge plays with his legs. But overall, I think that's the story of the turnaround for them, is having more of that balance offensively, having something that Caleb can lean on more. I still think there's been accuracy issues with him. Hasn't been the most consistent, but he is very talented. What he has done in terms of progress on the margins is really cutting down on that sack rate. That's significant, just taking fewer of those negative drive killing plays. And he's being put in a better situation. He's playing better. The team is winning games. Some of these have been kind of miraculous down to the wire wins. I'm not super moved by escaping against the Giants in a vacuum or escaping against the Bengals in a vacuum. I think
this team is still not good.
They're not very good. I think they're still a negative point differential team, but the offense is good. I think it's more so the defense.
100%.
So overall, I'm not sold on them being like a very good, legit playoff caliber team, but you're winning, you're improving. The key swing factors for this season, like, okay, how is improving the offensive infrastructure going to help Caleb? How is bringing this great offensive mind going to help him in the offense? All of those things look good right now. Defense, that's secondary. Like, you don't really have core pieces there that you've been invested in. It's about the franchise quarterback and the coach and the offense, and things are getting better there. Let's do another young quarterback check-in, though, Logan. As we scan around the league and judge these young men this week, where are we at with Jackson Dart? He unfortunately leaves this game with a concussion when the Giants were up, but how have you felt about his performance so far and his performance today?
He's growing on me. I didn't like Dart much as a prospect, but he's been really impressive to me with his legs. Like, that is a real weapon for him. I like his legs even more. We're talking about some of these other whiteys. I like him more than I like Bo's legs, than McCarthy's legs. He's faster,
Yep.
That's normally how I judge it. Yeah.
Sorry, English isn't my first language. So I'm having dissecting some of the literal meaning here. Yeah.
Man, I knew the Giants were fucked when Russell Wilson came in, man. That's when their goose was really cooked, bro. Anytime that you got to get Russ to rally the troops, it's wraps. Yeah, I like Dart. He's got tools that I didn't think he had. He's got some zip on his ball, and I hate to lean on this too, but like the poise and composure aspect, he doesn't wilt the way I see McCarthy wilt sometimes. He doesn't wilt the way Bo does sometimes. Dart's, it may just be like a confidence thing. Like, maybe that's it. That's what I'm drawn to with Dart. Like, I like him more than I like a McCarthy or a Nix. That's where I'm at with him when we're looking at some of these other guys. One thing I didn't get, why the fuck is Gunnar Olszewski playing so many snaps for he sucks, dude. That guy is horrible. I watched Jackson Dart today. Mind you, I don't think this bum ever caught a pass when he was a Pittsburgh Steeler. He targeted him on back-to-back end zone attempts. Both of them were almost intercepted because the guy's not a wide receiver. He's a bad special teams player. Not where you want to be if you're the Giants offense, man. Playing that guy a bunch of snaps. He stinks, dude.
Well, everybody's hurt. Everybody's hurt. And the fact that everybody's hurt does make what Jackson Dart's doing more impressive. I have been impressed overall. I mean, first of all, this guy can really run. Like, you're comparing him to some of the other young, quirked up white boys. I like him a good bit more than I like Bo or McCarthy. Part of that is I do think he's the best athlete of the bunch. I mean, he's got like that sort of big fullback kind of running style when he's out in space, where he can not just really move and make people miss. He can also actually hit people. And yeah, he's going to take some hits, but I think he's got the frame for the most part to hold up. 6 carries for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns today. He's got 50 plus rushing yards in 4 of his 6 starts. Like, he has been really effective, really productive on the ground, more so than I would have expected. And on top of that, good athleticism. He's protected the ball well the past few weeks. I thought that he had a couple ugly interceptions in that Saints loss, but since then, like, it's mostly been pretty clean football. And the other thing you just got to give him credit for is, like you said about Russ, this offense looked so dire before he came in and took the starting job. And even as they've suffered injuries, like, he has made this group competent. So what exactly is the ceiling? What exactly is the level that he's at as a processor, right? How good of a pure pocket passer is he going to be? I don't know that I'm super sold on all that stuff, but I think it's certainly been a good rookie season. And you do see, like, the second Russ comes back in, this team loses their spark. Dart has put life into this offense that didn't exist previously, that wouldn't exist with Russ. And like, I didn't think he was going to look this good this quick. So I don't think there's any question that it is a successful season for him so far, and a good performance today. It's a bummer that he wasn't able to finish this one. Another team that was working with a backup quarterback today, Logan, the Houston Texans, they got a win. And not just that, they had a 19-point fourth quarter comeback over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Liam Cohen's Jacksonville Jaguars, and therefore my Jacksonville Jaguars. Logan, what did you take away from this one?
I mean, this was by far the worst loss of the week for any team. Houston goes 26-0 in the fourth quarter. As you mentioned, they were trailing 29-10. They had 3 TD drives, ending all with Davis Mill TDs, 2 of them passing, 1 of them rushing. The Jaguar offense just has to do a better job of closing this game out, in my opinion, man. Like the fact that they have back-to-back 3-and-outs and immediate punts that burn minimal time off the clock. And, I'm not just going to put this on T-Law because I think a lot of people would just point at the quarterback. I put it on the play calling too. Like it is just lukewarm. It's playing scared, in my opinion. Like just back-to-back runs on first and second down, stuffed, incomplete on third down. Both of those series, you got to get more out of the offense to shut this game down. And obviously, like the defense getting marched on is ugly too. But to me, I just thought it was very conservative. Like, I guess, I don't know. Do you feel differently? Like, were you okay with them trusting your defense against Davis Mills? Like, I felt like the Texans were just building momentum, and the best way to make sure that they can't score all those points on you is to hold the ball yourself and extend some drives. Like, I thought it was a pretty bad meltdown and collapse on both sides of the ball, but I was more disappointed that the offense couldn't slam the door and not let Houston get the ball back.
It was a terrible collapse. It was a terrible finish to the game by the offense. What I would say, though, in terms of attributing blame to the offense is it's more so on the offensive line and their inability to protect against this elite Texans pass rush. T-Law dropped back 6 times in the fourth quarter. He was pressured on every single one of them. He got sacked 3 times. When he did make a positive play, it was him having to scramble, use his legs. Like, they were just completely overwhelmed. And that's been a through line. If you look at all of the Jags losses this year, in 4 losses, T-Law has taken 20 sacks, 5 sacks per game. In 5 wins, he's taken only 6 sacks, 1.2 sacks per game. So in the fourth quarter alone today, he takes 3 sacks. That kills 2 drives, including their last-ditch attempt where he gets stripped at the end and it's a fumble 6. Like, that to me was the biggest problem. I don't think that T-Law is good. I think that T-Law is okay. However, I think to look at how this game ended and say that's on him, or even that's on the play calling, it's like, what is the call when you just flat out cannot protect? You cannot keep these dudes from getting home to your quarterback. That's been the problem for the Jags.
I mean, you got to at least
in their losses.
You got to get 1 first down, man.
Well, they did get 1 first down, and then guess what? It was a penalty by the most penalized team in football, which is a problem that has to improve. They had a really nice play, actually, that T-Law made rolling out that would have had them in field goal range, and it comes back because of the legal hands to the face. But I totally agree they have to get 1 first down. We're not disagreeing that the offense failed. I'm saying the cause of it to me is the fact that they didn't run the ball well, which is the strength of this offense. That's what they always want to lean on. And when that gets taken away and then you can't protect for your quarterback, you're going to get shut down. So when they've been able to scheme around their offensive line, when they've been able to run heavy attack, quick passing, screens, that's when the offense has moved and that's when they've been able to beat people. When it turns into more of a drop back heavy, we aren't able to quickly get the football out. That's when things have kind of fallen apart for this team. And that's a limitation. This was an offensive line that was bad last year. And a lot of the numbers early in the year said, hey, this group is playing better. But I think more so it was the different approach of the offense that was kind of just covering that up. But I mean, when they go up against a team like the Seahawks, like all these good pass rushers, the Rams get absolutely eaten alive there. It's a devastating loss for the playoff hopes of the Jags because now you're tied 7th in the AFC with Kansas City, Baltimore 1 game behind. Like, the wild card race in the AFC is looking really, really scary right now because we have some of these surprise teams atop the division. Some of the big dogs are lurking behind now, but that means the Jags have to compete with them for playoff spots, and there's just no margin there, and they're just probably not consistent enough to make it this year. I picked the Jags to make the playoffs before the year, and I do think the Jags are a significantly improved football team, and I think Liam Cohen is a good coach, and I think they're getting more out of their talent, and I still think they'll be in the mix. But if it's penalties, if it's drops where they lead the league, if it is up and down quarterback play, up and down pass protection, even the up and down defense, like nothing is a given with them. Every week it's kind of like spin the wheel and see what we get.
It's so ironic to me that the Jaguars are better, and yet their 2 signature losses this season are to Jake Browning of the Bengals and Davis Mills of the Texans. It's just like it's the most Jacksonville shit that you can make up, man. Like I said that they had a stank on them, and I think Liam Cohen's opened a little bit of a window and let some of that out, but there's still some lingering over this franchise, man. Those probably the two worst losses, I think, this year.
Well, let's not let the Bills off the hook for today.
You know what? That's a great point.
Man. They lost by 17 to the Dolphins. That's pretty damn bad. But the Bengals loss was bad. That being said, Jake Browning realized for one game that you can actually just throw the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You're right. That, in terms of just like worst performance, that Falcons game takes the cake. If you factor in expectations, the Bills loss today might be the worst. But this was also so bad for the Jags just because you had it and you failed on both sides of the ball. And like, props to Davis Mills, man, because I thought this Texans offense without CJ would look terrible. They did last week, and they did for a lot of this game. And then he was just slinging it late, and Nico Collins was great. But also, you should never lose on a Davis Mills rushing touchdown on 3rd and 10. Davis Mills gets to the edge against you. I don't know. That's bad. That's bad. It was bad for the Jags, and they feel very differently if they're sitting at 6-3 compared to 5-4. Like, that is a huge swing game for them and a real bummer. Let's talk about a team that's feeling a little bit better, Logan. The Seattle Seahawks had their results wrapped up about 20 minutes into the football game. So they surged out to a 28-0 lead. Did they get to 35-0, or did the Cardinals score? I can't remember, but this game was over before it started, just about. What did you take away from this one for Seattle?
That's for damn sure. I think Seattle is, I want to call them the best team in the NFC. I might piggyback off of what you said earlier, though. They are definitely the most consistent team. I think them and the Rams so far this year, but that's where I'm at with Seattle. Like, I look at them, and they are a disruptive defensive front. They can exert pressure. They can stop the run. They are exceptionally well coached. They have one of the best defensive coaches, I think, in football. I think McDonald is absolutely brilliant. I think they have got the best secondary in football for my money. And then offensively, they have got a tier 1 weapon, a top 10 quarterback, and the most improved offensive line in football with a pretty damn good receiving core with a play caller that I love. Like, I just love everything about Seattle and what they're doing right now. I don't think I have ever been no, I can't say that. Sam Darnold's got me in back-to-back years. I was going to say, you know what? I've never been more wrong about a football team. Back-to-back Sam Darnold-led squads have gotten me. I said the Vikes were going to win 6-7 games. Boom. They won 14. I said Seattle was going to win 7 games. Who knows? They might rattle off 14 too, man. Like, Sam Darnold, my fault, player. I was not familiar with your game, and then I was familiar with your game, and then even though I was familiar with your game, I said, I'm cool.
His game got better. His game got better. He take another leap. He took is the past tense of to take in the English language. He took another leap, and he'll probably take another one, future tense, and then he'll probably become the GOAT. Sam Darnold, the options are limitless here, man. The potential is endless. He's so impressive, but they barely had to do anything to win this game. Like, they just raced out to such an early lead. It was like, all right, automatic Seahawks playbook. Of course, first drive of the game, we just hit like a 45-yard touchdown pass to JSN. Boom, let's get a couple more explosives to him. Great defense, 2 strip sacks, fumble 6s. Football game's over like that. Like, it was just such a low-risk game plan for them. This is a crazy stat. The Cardinals got 1 total pressure this game, Logan. It's the fewest we've seen in the NFL since 2022. Now, Seattle only had to drop back 13 times because they were up 4 touchdowns so early in the game. But on the other side, they got 23 pressures on Arizona, which is one of the highest totals we've seen all season. This is a great win. I don't know that we learned anything other than the fact that the last 2 times we have seen the Seahawks on the football field, they have absolutely boat raced their opponents, and that they've just been consistently awesome. And they've got an elite passing attack, and they've got an elite defense, and they've got a really good play caller. Super impressive, just consistently. And like you, I was very wrong and dramatically underestimated them. A little bit more predictable, Logan, is the Detroit Lions and their offense that we've seen this year and that we saw today as they hung more than 40 on the Washington Commanders without Jaden Daniels. What did you take away from this one?
I think Dan Campbell should be the full-time play caller for Detroit moving forward. I don't have any brand new takes. I think this game kind of ended up exactly how you would expect without Jaden Daniels on the field for the Commanders, and their season is just cooked and over, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I liked Dan Campbell and his readers in his game script a lot more than I liked Morton's. I thought Morton was doing a better job, but I like Dan a lot more. I thought it was just more creative. I don't know. Some of the stuff that Morton will give you in certain game spots, like some of the screen passes on like 3rd and long, and he could be a little bit more stale. I thought he had gotten better as the season has gone along, but I think Dan's going to be better for this team long term. And I'm just trying to sort the NFC out, man. I can't figure it out. There's 5 teams I really like. I just don't know exactly what order I want them in. I think Detroit's in the mix for top of the NFC for sure.
They definitely are. They're in the inner circle. And it's like, yeah, they've got 3 losses. That's just not a disqualifier this year. It's the theme of the year. Everybody's taking bad losses, and their best games are so good. Like, you just get the buzzsaw lines in this one where everything's clicking offensively. Run game is dominant. Goff is just absolutely picking you apart, work in the middle of the field. In their wins, he has been so good, Logan. 126 passer rating this year in wins, 9.1 yards per pass attempt, 15 touchdowns, 2 picks. Now, is there a Commanders defense tax in this one? Maybe, because the Commanders defense is absolutely terrible. But also, we know that the Lions offense is capable of doing this any week, and they did it in this one. And now Dan Campbell is saying, I'm going to beat the CEO allegations. I'm going to beat the coordinator merchant allegations. I'm going to beat the rah-rah only guy allegations. And I'm going to show you guys I can call a football game. And that was cool to see. Dan Campbell is the man. The Lions, at their best, are really dominant. And they're absolutely atop the NFC. Like you say, I don't know. The margins are so slim between these teams. It's going to come down to matchups and who plays best on any given Sunday. But Lions were very good today. Let's go to the flip side of the conference. The New Orleans Saints got a win today, Logan, over the Carolina Panthers, the previously above 500 Carolina Panthers, who seem to be cursed. Every time that they go above 500, they have to get brought back down to Panthers level. They did it, and then the Bills hung 40 on them and beat them by 30, and then they lost to the New Orleans Saints. What'd you take away from this?
I think those Panthers guys did their podcast again. I don't know if you saw that big storyline going around.
Did they come back? The guys who quit because their misery was too great?
I think they got them. I think they cursed them.
You're making that up. You're doing fake news. You're not a reliable media source. Oh, you are?
No, I'm serious. I'm pretty sure those guys came back.
Yeah, they got to quit again.
I think they should just end the podcast permanently.
Yeah. No, we need more. I'm going to take that back. We need more. Space isn't saturated enough. We need to make mics cheaper, and we need more podcasts.
I don't have any big picture takes about this, and I thought Tyler Shuck had a decent game, looked pretty good, but Chris Olave was disgusting in this one. He had some ridiculous catches in this game. To me, he was the star of the show. But are you moved? Are you still team fuck Shuck?
No, fuck Shuck. Fuck Shuck, dude. Get Rattler back out there. This wasn't an offensive win for the Saints. 17 points, supposed to move me. This was much more so about the incompetence of Carolina, and particularly the harsh reality about Bryce Young.
Yeah, I mean, he is a people have gotten mad at me for this before. He is a backup quarterback. He is Kenny Pickett. They are one and the same.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I've said I think he's a little bit better than Kenny. I think that there's a little bit more whimsy to him. I think there's a little bit more football IQ. And I think that there was at least a high last season for a magical stretch of several weeks that Kenny has never reached. That being said, overall, I've been on the side of, Bryce is not the guy, and he's not good. He's not good.
He's got a radiant smile. He's got a glow about him. I love all those things.
I will say, you're not in a great spot when after a win, everybody jumps to your defense by saying, hold on a second. What you're missing from last week is the fact that he actually did a really nice job of making it look like he was giving Rico Dowdle a pass protection assignment when he got the first down that won the game against the Packers. I'm not saying that was not an impressive, good thing to do. It was. That's smart football from Bryce Young. And the Packers specifically said that they were expecting a pass. They were fooled by it. That being said, I think sometimes when you win a football game, people start looking for the reasons we should praise the quarterback and don't ultimately come to the simple conclusion that the way that the Panthers have been able to win is by really minimizing Bryce's role and leaning much more on the power run game. And when they do need him to actually pick up the slack in the passing game, he just doesn't have the traits to do so. I mean, it's really overwhelmingly a physical thing. This has been the takeaway from Bryce since a couple games into his career, dude. It's like, we'll never see a quarterback who's that physically limited go number one overall. Again, you just can't do it. And so people want endless optimism.
Further, man. Bryce could be, look, I'm not saying there aren't anomalies. Like, could there be another guy like the size of Doug Flutie that is that mobile, that could move around like him, that could get
Kyler
drafted? I would just take it a step further and say that I just think this archetype is kind of going out of style, man. I just don't think small guys are going to be that highly coveted. And I don't know if any quarterback goes relatively high in the draft again with this kind of physical profile. We've talked about this on the show before, but you just have to be so ridiculously good at that size if you want to last, and you have to meet certain prerequisites. You have to have the mobility, or you have to have a ridiculous arm. Drew Brees was still 6 feet tall. Russell Wilson has some of the greatest legs and mobility of any quarterback ever. You can't understate that. That's why his fall off was so rapid and so sudden. Kyler, right? And then you look at a guy like Bryce and you just go, he's just small. He doesn't have any of those kind of traits. So, I think he's kind of cooked.
That's the thing. It's not just size. Like, Kyler is, first of all, way stronger. He has a way more muscular build, so he's better set to take hits and whatnot. He is way more elusive. Obviously, just a way, way more explosive runner of the football. Even though Bryce is fast, he doesn't use that scrambling ability at like a standout level whatsoever, whereas Kyler's one of the best movers we've ever seen. And then also Kyler's got a fucking cannon, and Bryce has a well below average NFL arm. I mean, the out route that he just underthrows so badly today, dude.
Gosh, dude. That's one of the worst picks I've ever seen.
Just too many of those moments, too many of those low lights where it's like you are just too physically limited to make the play that needs to be made here. And when you finally have a game where Rico Dowdle isn't playing like peak Earl Campbell, you put up 7 points on the Saints. Like, Bryce is averaging 5.6 yards per pass attempt. That's 36th of 37 qualified quarterbacks. He's 32nd in passer rating, and he's averaging 168 passing yards per game as a full-time quarterback. I just think the conversation has to be over. He can finish out the year, but unfortunately they got to go back to the well here. He's just not the guy. I agree with you. He can be a spot starter and a backup in this league, but not the guy. And I know a lot of Panthers fans, it's tough if you're a Carolina sports fan. You get beaten over the head with a lot of misery. And I think some people were mad at us last week that we weren't more optimistic after the Packers win. I just thought that was a lot more about the Packers playing down and fumbling it. And I don't think the Panthers are like at all good. I don't think they're solid. I think that they've got Falcons, Niners, Rams coming up. And then after their bye, they have 2 games against the Bucs and they have a Seahawks game. I think they could win 6 games this year. Like, I think the end of the year could be that ugly for them. They run the football well. Rico Dowdle is really good. The offensive line is pretty good. I like Ted McMillan.
Sweet. I was going to say, dude, I really wonder how Bryce would have looked this season if they didn't go out and get a guy like Ted McMillan. Like, he is so much of their offense, through the air. Like, they're so comically limited outside of him. And I think he's a guy that's going to blossom once they get a NFL caliber real starting quarterback in here.
Look, it's an improved season for the Panthers no matter what. But again, when I look at this schedule down the stretch and when I think about the actual caliber of a football team that this is, it's hard for me to not think there's going to be a big time slide here. And they're probably going to be picking in the top 10 again this year, and definitely not going to finish above 500 or make a playoff push or anything like that I think Panthers fans would hope would be on the menu. But in terms of Tyler Shuck, fuck Shuck, baby, bring back Rattler. That's all I got to say. And Jets Browns, Somebody had to win this football game, Logan. That's my take. Anything you want to add?
That they did. I just thought this was classic Browns and classic Jets. The Browns, I get excited for because, I'm cheering on the Browns for my buddy Mark. Open the game with a TD. And then the next two times the Jets touch the football, it's back-to-back return touchdowns, a kick return TD, and then a punt return TD. I also thought it was ironic how they lost this game. They get to a spot, 4th and 4, where the Jets aren't going to snap the ball. They're trying to get the Browns to jump off sides. And some dumbass, number 99 for Cleveland, jumps, and it's a neutral zone infraction. And the Browns don't even get the ball back in a chance. I mean, Dylan Gabriel wasn't going to go out there and win them the game, but you could have had an opportunity. But classic Jets, too. Justin Fields wins this game with a stat line of 6 of 11 for 54 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 pick.
Yeah.
Classic. Shout out Will McDonald, though. 4 sacks in this game. He balled.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. I will say Justin Fields has put up some quarterback stat lines for a full-time starter that we haven't seen in a long, long time in this league, Logan. And we're not talking about blizzard games. We're talking about just a regular old football game. This guy will go out there, throw for 50 yards. He'll have a negative net passing yard performance. And he's the guy. He's the guy for the Jets, and he's their franchise quarterback. So that's something to consider. Let's get to the Super Chats, Logan. We've covered every game. By the way, that was a joke. Justin Fields sucks. And they're just going to have to eat that he's getting paid $20 million this year and next year because they're the Jets and they make terrible decisions, and that is their lot in this life. Brandon, thank you for your generous donation to the Nerd Sesh Foundation. I will never forget your guys' Seahawks preseason record prediction. My GOAT JSN is going to lead us to the promised land. Never forget. Hashtag never forget. You shouldn't. Huge miss. JSN is the GOAT. My offensive player of the year at this point, even though Jonathan Taylor is incredible. JSN, if they had played an actual football game this week, he would have had 250 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I will never forget 9/11.
That is also a good point, Logan. B. Crames, thank you for your generous donation. Tyler Shuck, more like Tyler Fucks. It's incredible he can still get it up at his old age.
Tell me about it.
Some of these quarterbacks, Logan, they're coming out of the draft and they are middle-aged. Michael Penix is a 25-year-old man out there. Tyler Shuck is also 25, or is he 26?
Oh, he's like Buddy Hield. He's like 40.
He gets older every day, I think. He's doing the reverse Jake LaRavia. Yeah, he's 26, dude. Get out of here.
What?
Yeah, he's 26. Get out of here. Give me the Rat Man, who's also 25, but don't worry about that.
Tyler Shuck is not 26.
Yeah, he is, dude. He started, actually, I remember he started college in 2018, I believe.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. You could call him Unc. You could look him in the eyes and say, Unc, I can't believe you can still get it up at your old age. But you're not a very good quarterback, at least not compared to Spencer Rattler, the GOAT.
This guy was backing up Justin Herbert.
Yeah. It's the lifespan of a college quarterback these days. You play for 4 different coaches at 4 different programs, and eventually you find your way and you become a second-round pick in the NFL draft. Yaya says, Bears 6-3, Pats 8-2. My life is complete. We've got a couple of Caleb and Drake Maye stands here.
Super Bowl 20 rematch?
Wow. Didn't go so well for the Pats that time, did it, Logan?
Caleb, Drake Maye, Super Bowl duel. Number 1, number 2 pick?
That'd be pretty sweet. Not going to happen, though, for a while at least. But Matt says, my Caleb and May agendas are well and alive. Also, if Vikings miss the playoffs, they need to go all in by trading for a quarterback, whatever it takes. KOC might lose his job otherwise. Minnesota fans are mad. No, that would be terrible. That would be a total misattribution of blame and misallocation of your rage and fury. It should be gently placed towards 9. But people don't want to do that. Nobody ever wants to get mad at their young, highly drafted quarterback. But KOC is the man. KOC is the floor setter. KOC is the
agree,
and Jettis, of course.
I think you got to see the writing on the wall, though, man. I don't think there's any way. And granted, I mean, he could even have a good stretch to end this season. I don't think there's any way you can run back next year this roster with JJ McCarthy as like your starter for the season, right? Like, I mean, I think you got to go and get somebody.
I don't know. I think they really like him. Like, I'm trying to figure out how they came into the year thinking that this was the right strategy, other than just blind confidence in this guy who they invested a lot in. Or maybe it's just straight up sunken cost fallacy of, we invested a lot in this guy, Jake Moody. We spent a 3rd-round pick on him. So even though he's the worst kicker in the NFL, we're going to keep him around for 3 years.
I think it's just bad process, man. It's like
totally bad process, but it happens.
This team is ready to win now. So go get a quarterback that can win you games now.
I totally agree. But they had 2 of them on their roster.
I mean, this legitimately. I would rather have Jacoby Brissett than JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, to win football games right now, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacoby had a rough day today.
I'm just saying, like, that kind of speaks volumes
about
about the state of your franchise. I didn't realize this. Lowest interception rate in NFL history, Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. I think I did know that, actually. He can take care of the football. Now, the 2 fumbles that were returned for touchdowns, they don't factor into that. That's where it becomes a fake stat. But nevertheless, shout out to Jacoby. Good career he's had. And shout out to fucking Drake Maye, dude. A Drake Maye agenda is a beautiful, wonderful thing to have. It is the gift that keeps on giving. And as a Bills fan, it's probably actually going to suck for a while, because he's great and the Patriots are going to be really good again for a while. But the Bills are also going to be really, really good for a long time. And they've been top dogs, and they got to get dethroned. Now, losing to the Dolphins doesn't help. But, Logan, the picture is so much bigger than that. These things are not decided on a Week 10 game in Miami, especially not for a guy like me who is now zen and stoic. And I'm up in the clouds, and I'm floating, but I'm not floating away. I'm not floating towards anything, and I'm not floating away from anything. I'm just floating. I'm existing.
Ooh, that's so beautiful, man.
I'm just taking it all in. And who's this coming up behind me? Who's this gently massaging my shoulders? Bill Cosby? Get him out of here. I don't want him in here at all. And that's the end of the vision, and that's the end of the episode. We hope that you guys enjoyed this one. And if you did, you know where to find us. 2 episodes of the Mega Viral Nerd Sesh podcast this weekend. Logan, we talked NBA yesterday, and if you missed it, well, then you better go get it. You better go watch it, because that was a fun one. We've got a fun trivia collab coming up this week. You thought that was only for the summer? No, that's going to be a whole lot of fun. And we'll have more NBA shows and such. I will give the warning now. Unless the government shutdown and all of the related stuff keeps me from getting to Buffalo via aircraft this coming weekend, then we will not have a Sunday night live show next week. We will do one Monday night, probably go up Tuesday morning. That is the last time this year that will be the case, though. So if you get separation anxiety, if you start having a panic attack, if you freak out, don't worry. Just remember, there's still going to be an NFL show, and it's the last time that you'll have to wait beyond Sunday night. And before then, we got so much stuff coming. We've got all of our full episodes. Watch them, listen to them. You can watch our additional YouTube video essay content. I made the video on Cooper Flag. I think I'm going to make a video, Logan, about what's coming in this next draft, because holy shit, my mind is blown. Basketball players are just freaks now, and it's awesome. It's incredible. So stay tuned for that. And, of course, follow us across social, TikTok, Instagram, at NerdSesh, Twitter, at Nerd_Sesh, to see all of the clips from the show, graphics from the show, and all of our short-form trivia content, of course. So, with that, as always, we appreciate you guys oh so much. I've been Carson Brabber.
I've been Logan Camden.
And this was Nerd Sesh.